Welcome to the Biz Bash podcast, where we make biz strategy a piece of cake. I'm Elizabeth.
And I'm Cami, but you might know us better as Eliza Ann Calligraphy and Cami Monet. We want to help you, our fellow stationers, artists, and calligraphers, confidently build a profitable and personality-driven creative biz.
We're here to share our honest-to-goodness advice and actionable strategies for ambitious artists.
So put on your party hat, quit being a procrastinator gator, and let's get this party started.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the Biz Birthday Bash podcast. Today is going to be epic. We have an amazing guest with us today. We have Nikisha King. She is going to be giving us all the details about streamlining your business, which is something we all could use. So we're going to be talking to her today about that. And Nikisha, we just want to welcome you to the show.
Hey guys, how are you?
We are good, thank you. I have an extra case of the Monday Sillies today, but all is good, and we are so happy you're here with us.
Thank you guys for inviting me. I greatly appreciate it.
Yes, if there is anything I have learned from my Zoom conversations with Nikisha is that she has amazing wisdom that deserves to be shared with everybody, which is why I was like, we have to get you on the podcast ASAP, just so we can share that with the rest of our audience. I know they'll benefit so much. So, Nikisha, if it's all right with you, I'm going to go ahead and read your bio really quick just to introduce you.
Yes.
All right, everyone. Today we have Nikisha here with us, the founder and creative director of two thriving companies, Nikisha King Design Agency, a custom design agency specializing in full-service wedding and event stationery design, and ANH Design House, an online stationery store that brings joy to family and friends through paper goods. In addition to being a successful business owner, Nikisha is deeply committed to her family. She's the daughter of Elmore and Agnes, wife to John, mother of two beautiful and strong girls, Haley and Aaron, and a dog mom to her Labradoodle, Coco. Nikisha balances her work and family life with love and building systems that keeps everything moving in the right direction. As a lifelong learner who earned a master's in public health and a master's in business administration, Nikisha is passionate about developing and implementing a focused formula for women-owned businesses to create an organized and easy workflow, resulting in them scaling their businesses and leveling up their revenue. And we are just so excited that you're here, and we can't wait to ask you questions. And Nikisha, I do want to clarify for our audience. I introduced you as Nikisha King. Is your name is Nikisha Hidalgo, correct? Did I mess that up?
Yes.
Okay.
It's Nikisha Hidalgo. Nikisha King is fine. It's my maiden name and my business name. So either is fine, but Nikisha Hidalgo is my name. That's
wonderful. Oh, so embarrassing. I'm so sorry. Now I'm like, do I need to?
No, it's
No, you don't.
No
it's
worries.
perfectly fine.
Okay, sounds good. Cami gets the same thing too.
People think my last name is Monet, and that's my middle name, but like no one knows who Cami Miller is, and so I'm just like, it's just Cami Monet. It's fine. Whatever you call me.
Yep, you just got to just go with the flow, and you're like, it's okay. It's totally fine.
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. I am going to go ahead and then just dive into the questions right here and ask you the first one, because we would love for you to tell us a bit about your path to event stationery design. So how did you end up where you are today?
So I ended up here, and it's like a weird path because I come from the background of health. It's always been my thing since I was 5. I wanted to become a physician, and I was really headstrong and adamant about doing it. I went on to get my college degree and everything, did my sciences, and then I was working in healthcare, and I realized helping someone can be done more than just a hospital setting. And I wasn't too fond of what I saw for family structure if I became a physician. I seen that because I interned, I worked in the hospitals, and the relationships between the physicians and their family was so different. I was like, that's something I didn't want. So I pretty much wanted to even get my creative side going, and I did my invitations for my wedding. But other than doing that, I just wanted to be able to sit down and design. I don't know if you guys are into stuff like that, where you just get to pretty much imagine what you want something to look like, feel like, and you just do it. So I couldn't do that because I was totally a left brainer. I am a left brainer. regarding analyzing everything. If I do something, I'm analyzing it. I'm looking for issues. I'm just always in the mutt. And what I wanted to do was just be able to create without over analyzing. So pretty much I had a friend who is in the event planning business, and we had a conversation, and she said, why don't you look at doing invitations, right? And I said, okay, I'm going to try that. And I got into it, and I pretty much enjoyed it because it was challenging. I had to learn something new. So it was challenging me. And I started off really small. I started off working with an affiliate company where you sell their products for like a 50% markdown or a relationship like that. And then the demand for custom started to become a thing, and I started to meet that demand. And that's pretty much how my journey went. It was a lot more than that, of course, especially when you're starting out. But I just wanted to elevate my creative side, like kind of revitalize it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. We have a lot of other guests and people that have similar backgrounds, either medical or like just super like analytical, or lawyers, mathematicians who want to kind of dig back into their creative side again. So I
Right.
really love that that is also how you kind of came back to art. And do you mind sharing with our audience too, like timeline for this? Like what year did you kind of start playing around and experimenting?
So 2008, I started experimenting. 2009, I officially opened my business.
Okay.
Wow, you're an
Amazing.
OG.
Oh yeah, I've been doing this for 11 years, going on 12.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so as you're starting this, obviously you have 11 years of experience under your belt. When did you really realize your business needed to be streamlined to create this awesome experience for your clients?
So I realized it when my volume or the demand for my services increased. So usually when you start off, you might have 2 or 3 clients a month or something of that nature. And even then, you still need a process. And that process is mental, right? It's something you remember what you do it every day. But when my numbers started to increase, memory, I couldn't rely on my memory because I felt like someone will slip through the crack. So I pretty much learned that when my numbers increase or if I change what I'm offering, that's when I had to streamline. That's when I had to get really specific and efficient in how I do it, creating a workflow, something like a checklist to keep me pretty much streamlined in the process. So no one was left out, in the wind somewhere getting blown away.
Mm-hmm.
And just streamlining the process created an efficiency and clear communication, which is key for me because I want my clients to have a great experience. So, for example, I had a client who once stated to me, quote, I always felt like I was her only client, no juggling involved. I felt very much exclusive with her as she always answered my questions promptly and made sure I didn't worry, end quote. And that's what I want all my clients to feel. Even though I'm juggling 20 or 30, I want them to have that specific feeling.
Yes, 100%. And I just wanted to take a second to compliment you, Nikisha, because I think that principle, I think you apply that in all areas of your life, because when you reach out to me and ask, Elizabeth, how is your day? How has your week been? You make me feel like I'm your like only and greatest friend because you're so attentive and intentional. And I also joked with you and I was like, we just need to have a whole nother episode at one point where we talk about intentionality with networking and relationships, because it's just such a great strength of yours. And that is honestly so important to have in a business. You want clients to feel like that. You don't want them to feel like a number. That being said, what were the first steps you took to really streamline your business?
So for me, it was 2 things that were really important. A CRM, which is a client relationship management system, and a project management system, right? So they both have 2 different purposes. With the CRM, as of now, I think there's so many more options than when it was when I started. I don't remember. I know when I started, I forgot they had one and I joined it, but it was Salesforce. But it was so robust and it was like overkill for me as a new business, where now we have Tave, which is what I use, and we have Dubsado. There's also another one called Sprout Studio. So there's different ones in the play at this moment in time for different disciplines or different businesses, the industries you're in. And that's used for pretty much when I onboard my clients, right? So my CRM is just when I'm onboarding, getting clients in the system, having their information in one place. When I do their contract or their agreements, any questionnaires, it's all housed on my CRM. Once my client becomes my client, I don't like email. I don't know about you guys, but email is like a nightmare. It's like when someone writes you, and nowadays how they have emails go straight to spam. I don't want anyone ever saying that I never sent them something because it was in their spam box. I don't want to have to email you, then text you to say, I sent it. Did you get it? It might be in your spam box if you don't see it. I think that is so unprofessional, and I usually don't text my clients. I usually keep them really, streamlined in our beginning as email, but once they become my client, we move them into Trello. That's what I use for my project management, and Trello's really good at doing that. So it's easy for them, one, and everything is just there. All the communication, all our art designs, all our links to if they want to look at their agreement or they have questions. It houses pretty much everything. And those are the two things I implemented from the beginning.
And so clarification for Trello, are they receiving like a client login through Trello where they see everything that you have uploaded? Or is that on your backend business side for you to stay organized?
So I use it in both ways. So one, it is client facing, meaning my client is invited to a board. They either sign up, or if they already have a login, they sign in. When they open it, they only see that board and it has their name on it. It's personalized to them, and it literally has what our pending list is. So the due dates and the things that we're going to do next, everything is listed. And every time something's completed, it gets moved over to our completed list. So in a way, psychologically, it gives them a sense of we're getting somewhere, right? It gives them a sense of things are getting done because they can actually see how the completed list gets full and the pending gets small. And I like that whole concept. And they get to experience that. All their designs are housed there. So everything we do is there. We don't email anything or do anything of that nature. And then the other side of it is my team. I have a few artists that I work with, different team members, and we have our project boards there. A team member, I give one project board to one team member, and I do that because it isolates that project with them. And the same thing, right? We have a collateral board. So all our collateral, I need to get to them if they have to design something for me. We just have our due dates when something's required. I like informing everyone so everyone's on the same page. So I use it for both my team and for my clients.
That's incredible because I honestly didn't know Trello had the ability to be client-facing.
I like that is so cool because it is the most satisfying thing when you check off the box in Trello and it moves to the other thing, and you can move it basically down a pipeline. I mean, I don't know how your boards are set up, but now I'm like, I got to start using Trello again. But that's really cool. I haven't heard anyone use it for clients like that. So
I do, and it's good because my clients, they don't fight me on it. A lot of people always question that. Does your client just sign up? Is it an issue? I'm like, here's the thing. If you inform people of your process, they'll either get on board or they don't. And if they don't, they're not for you. I'm very clear about that. Like, if you don't want to do what my process is to give you the best of me, I'm okay with saying this is not going to work. Hence the reason we all have that first phone call. So with my clients, it's easy as texting. Anyone can do it. And they get access to me. They get access through my computer, my watch, all my Apple products. It just goes bing. So when they actually respond, it's always, for me, it's easier to respond back to them because it's literally like texting. We're just not on a texting platform where your messages get lost because it's like 5 texts or 10 million texts above and you're like scrolling. That doesn't work for me in any form, anyway. So in Trello, it's perfect for that. Yeah.
Do you ever have to have like a little mini training session with the client if they're like not tech savvy and they buy headphones that have a wire? No, I'm just kidding. Like, do you have to do like ever do a walkthrough with them, or is it just like, I feel like Trello is pretty intuitive, but I'm just curious.
No. So what I usually do is maybe a 10 to 20 second video of how to turn on your notification.
Brilliant.
Literally, I do that just so they can put the eye on to watch the board. So when I put anything up, they're notified. I turn mine on, so it's always back and forth. Sometimes they don't even have to do the at my name in the box. If they just type in the box, Trello notifies me. I don't even need an at. They don't need to do anything but just type, and that's it.
This is so crazy. I'm like, I need a screen share. I need like some Trello training.
Yeah,
No.
share your boards with all of us.
This is so cool.
It is really
And
cool.
was Trello the very first system you implemented then? I know you said it's the first system your client goes into at the beginning. Is that also what you chose at the beginning for yourself?
Yes. Before I did look at Asana, but Asana was too complicated. And it was
Okay.
complicated for me, then it would be complicated. And that's where you would have to do a lot of those screen sharings. And I was like, nope, I'm not doing that. Trello, I started using it and automatically I saw how I can do it for my face foreign client. There was also another stationer I met and she was doing it. And when she shared it, I got it automatically. And then I just created mine and it just got efficient as more as I practiced and used it with my clients.
Yeah, I mean, you really have to find what works for your brain. Like when it comes to systems, it has to be something that works for you. Like there's so many different ones out there, but like, I mean, I tried, a handful before I settled on Dubsado because I was like, I literally cannot like understand how this works. And then Dubsado was like, oh, this is so easy and intuitive. And like when you have that, like that click, it's just like, oh, it's a perfect match. Okay. And then you can move forward with that.
It's true, but it also takes time. Here's the thing, right? I don't believe that the way I work my system before I had a streamlined process was efficient. That's the challenge because we're survivors, right? That's our first thing. If I go into a program and it's robust, I'm only going to use the one thing that I understand. And then that one thing I use, I'm going to create 5 million hacks around the system, even though the system can do everything for me. I don't believe in that at all. That doesn't make sense. So sometimes what you have to do is one, you either take time to learn what you've invested your money in, or two, you hire someone who can help you set it up, but at the same time give you training tools that can help you and your team acclimate to that new robust system. Anything that's easy just means that it's limited on what it gives you. Anything that has a learning curve to it, and it may be a bigger learning curve than normal, that means it's capable of doing everything or 80% of what you need, and you just have to invest the time or the money in it. It's one or the other, and that's what Dubsado is. It's the same thing like how I use Tave. It has so many different great features, but you actually have to learn them and then learn how they work together, if that makes sense. And once it click, I mean, you're on your way. You know what I mean? So, but I totally believe in that process rather than you having a system, investing so much money in it, using one thing, which is like pretty much setting a contract, collecting payment, and then hacking everything else, which is like, I don't think that's the best way to use your time. That's not streamlining.
Right. Okay. So you just mentioned that you also use Dubsado. So you have Trello, Dubsado, and Tave, which I'm glad that you know how to pronounce it because I always said Tave.
So I don't have Dubsado. I've used
Oh,
it.
okay.
I've used it before, but I am a function over pretty. So Tave does function for me like no other.
Okay.
Especially when it comes to automation. And automation, guys, doesn't mean just letting the system run by itself. No, it drafts my emails for me, put it in my inbox, and I can go in and personalize it. It just has ways of doing things that I don't know if Dubsado got there, which I believe they are, because they're very good at what they're doing. I just like Tave because there were certain things I didn't get when Dubsado was first out.
Right. I think I heard that Tave has the ability for clients to kind of better select their own pricing on the back end when creating a proposal, or like has like drop down list. Yeah.
Yeah. So they have the option, which is our advanced proposal, where we can give 3 or 4 or 5 options. No, it depends on who you are. I don't give that many. I usually give 1 or 2 of my high and low options. And then pretty much the client could choose which one they want, and they sign the agreement. They pay their deposit or retainer, and we just move forward. And then say for example, they do that. once they're booked, I could trigger an email that says, thanks for booking with us. The next step is scheduling your creative meeting. I can give them 2 dates and I say, here's our link. There's so many things I can do that can pretty much automate itself without me having to hold the system's hand in that process.
Yes, very, very cool. I do know that the workflow aspect on Dubsato's backend of scheduling some of those things up has definitely tripped me up a little bit before.
Right.
In terms of getting all that lined up. I felt like I had to think really hard, which as entrepreneurs, we're always trying to conserve as much brain energy as possible. And I did eventually get it because like you said, Nikisha, it's like when you invest into a system, you want to do your best to 100% understand everything that it offers.
Right.
And so going back to that whole point of just doing your research and then figuring out what aligns with your brand. So can you talk about what each system in your business does? Just because I don't think we've outlined that explicitly quite yet. You talked a little bit about Trello. We talked a little bit about Tave, but where do those things come in the workflow for your clients? Just so people could hear about that a little more.
So, when I have a client who's a lead, they pretty much do my inquiry form. My inquiry form is connected to Tave. Okay. So when they submit an inquiry form, it comes right into Tave and create a file for that lead. And in that file, I'm able to go in and create an email, right? And I do it right there. The email does not commingle with my Gmail account. It doesn't commingle with anything. It's just their email and that's it. It's used for me having the conversation of scheduling a phone call or a Zoom call. It's used in when it's time to do a proposal, I generate that proposal, send it to them with the agreement. I use Tave when I do the form to get to know them, to know what their why are they seeking custom invitations? Why are they looking to us for that service? And just getting to know my clients better. So Tave helps with the lead acquisition process. Once they book, it usually helps with onboarding them, just pretty much sending an email with all the information for Trello, and then having my checklist of what needs to happen for that client. If that client is an invitation full service, that's a different workflow than if it's just invitations. It's full service is completely different than just my invitations because we do everything, all their paper goods. So we have those checklists in our Tave. So pretty much we check it as we go along so we don't miss a step. And then they are onboarded to Trello, and that's where all of our communication take place, where all the designs go. I also use Loom, Loom, just in case it doesn't sound like that. But Loom works really well in regards to sending them a video of what they need to do or where they can find something without having to use so many words and they're totally confused. And yeah, Loom is really one of those good things. So Loom I've implemented in my business as well. One of the systems I truly love. Like right now I have a client and I do other services. I do business services. So we're streamlining her Tave. I build it out for her. I'm doing her workflow and her automation. I set it up for her. And it's nice because when I do something, I could just record my whole screen and she gets it right away. There's not a lot of back and forth. There's not a lot of, I need to get on the phone to call her to totally walk her through the whole process. And that's pretty much the 3 things I really like and use.
I love that.
Perfect. That is so helpful.
Yes. And I would say, I feel like Loom is like an underrated creative tool. Like it really is so easy to use. And like, you're so right. Like I never think of that as a system I use in my business when people ask me like, what do you use? But Loom is something I use all the darn time. Like sending something to my VA to explain something or for clients to kind of walk through a design or just like touch base or whatever. It's like really cool. So, and you can like embed the videos directly into, your whatever client management system you're using, which is really cool. So yes, great point there.
It is. It's a good tool. And it's also great if you're interested in streamlining your business for your standard of procedures, also known as SOPs. I use that. So when I have team members and I add team members on, there's training videos for them.
Yes. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about your team because like I want to grow a team. Like that's what I want to do. So can you tell us like the structure of your stationery business and how you kind of work with your team and their roles?
So in regards to my business structure, I am an advocate for building a business that's sustainable without me being in it. I don't want to be in my business 24/7. I do have kids and a husband. So I love getting away and knowing that my business can run without me. That's my goal. That's what I work towards. And in creating that, I trust people. And I trust people because one, I know who I'm looking for. So I do have an actual, how can I call it, a job description of my team members, even people who are not with me yet. I still have their description. I still have their duties and responsibilities. Therefore, when I'm ready to implement that position in my business, I know what I'm looking for. So I'm not frustrated, irritated, and overworked and then go search for help. I pretty know what I need for my help. And then when I get to a place where my demand is requiring that, I can go somewhere and search and be like, okay, this criteria meet, let me interview them and see how they work. That's one of the things I started from. In having this structure too, I usually speak to a lot of creative partners. I mean, we're in the creative industry. There's so many creatives that we're surrounded with. So I have some artists that I use, and they actually are not in the US, which I thought was going to be weird and different and hard because one, we have a language barrier at times. And that's not really a language barrier. The person I speak to, she doesn't speak English as well, but she gets it in a second. And once again, I use Trello for everything. So if she can get that, trust me, Trello is so easy. And we pretty much tried out a project. I usually try my artist. So I usually say I would like to have this. She's an illustrator. And I would have her do illustrations for venues I really love and I want to promote on my art. And she's capable of knocking it out. When I need something fixed or changed, she gets it quickly. If I do a Loom video and send it to her, it's like a fast turnover. And I support them in what they ask for. I do not ask for less. I don't do anything that devalues any artist. I believe artists, when they ask for something, I'm fully aboard with that or on board with that. So with my team, it's just pretty much finding them. And I can't tell you how I found them. Like I just found these people. Like I saw something they did. I inquired. I reached out. A conversation happened. I put work in place. And I tried the project with them and a couple in communication. And it went well. The other thing too, it's my responsibility to create a process with them. So what I do is I speak to them and I say, okay, when we do this, what do we need? What do you need me to get from my clients? And literally they tell me and I create a process. So when those clients come to me, I'm like, this is everything we need. And I accumulate all the resources and collateral for the project. And usually it works well because they know what they need. I know what they need. And it's just well. And I do, of course, they are contracted. So we do have our contract in place in our independent contract agreement. But this is how I usually build my team. I work with people that, one, who align with my value and my culture. I am an advocate for women. I like working with women artists, but I do work with men as well. I like people who want something different and believe that their client should be in their project, not like something really general. So the artists that I work with are pretty much that. And they're great human beings. Like they just do great things in the world and they have aspirations. And I'm happy that I can support their aspiration just by being that funnel with leads coming in. And I take care of the business side and they just do what they do best, the art side, right? Artists love art. They don't want to deal with QuickBooks. They don't want to deal with CRMs. They don't want to do anything like that. So I usually am the person who enjoys doing that for them. And they just take care of everything else, the art side.
Yeah, that is an awesome explanation. And I also want to ask if you can share with our audience your exact role within the business, because obviously you are the grand organizer,
right?
You're like the head of management. And so are you basically onboarding the client, talking to them, and then they immediately are handed off to a team member? Are you consulting on the designs at all? Are you doing any assembly? Like, what do your day-to-day roles look like? Because our audience, I know, is a lot of solopreneurs, like,
right,
or single womenpreneurs who are doing everything in their own business. And so I think it would be really helpful for people to understand how you build that business up and then what your role becomes in that business, if that makes sense.
It does. So For everyone who's listening, being a solopreneur is a great thing. But at one point, if you are looking to grow, because I'm assuming when you get into business, you want to grow. I just don't see one person wanting to wear 10 million hats all the time as the reason they got into business. Just be mindful. If you are able to trust and get a team of individuals who can help you, it allows you to do more in the world. People who start businesses are not selfish. They're very giving human beings. And if you start a business, it's because you want to make sure you're of service to someone. You can be a great service to people when you have a team behind you and backing you. So just keep an open mind to that. And a team does not mean 10 million employees. Don't get it twisted. You can have 5 to 10 contractors who can help you by just doing, maybe if you're in photography, the editing, the things you're really not fond of, or the business, you have your accountant. These are all team members. Yes, they are. And they work their own business, but they help you with what you need. My day-to-day role in mine is one, I usually am the person who speaks to the leads. So I usually have that first they come to me, and they come to me via my partnership with planners and things of that nature. And then I usually am in that process of explaining what we do differently than everyone else and explaining why we are here. What is our purpose in helping anyone? Once I onboard them, I usually manage the whole design. So I am the creative director. They speak to me and I get a good sense of what their vision is. Once I get a good sense of that, then I speak to my team members and like my artists and designers. And I'm usually like, okay, this is the plan. They implement the art design, they implement the layout, they send it back to me and I look at it. And if it's something that I just don't want to edit, I'll send it back with my edit notes. Or if it's something I can easily just go and illustrate and do, I do. Since I have 11 years of designing or editing a file or image is not an issue for me. Like I usually would just go in and clean up. If I want like a different font, I can just see what I have and what I want. And that usually works out well. And then I submit it to the client with what the client, just how we got to this vision. I do not supply 3 versions. I only supply one because they're coming to me to do the work.
I just have to say, round of applause for only submitting one. Yes. Okay, but continue why you do that.
So I used to in the past do like 2 or 3. So I used to in the past. And then I have a good friend, Matthew, with a fine press, and we speak a lot. And in regards to being the authoritative, being the person who actually is the creative, there is no need for me to do 3 concepts and then blend them because I no longer am the authority. I'm telling people to choose the one they like and then we'll fix it up with all mixes and mashes of other things. What I've learned in doing that is 1, the first design is usually my crappy design. The second is a little bit better. And the third one is the one I really like. And usually when I share it with them, they pick either 1 or 2. And I'm like, this is so crappy. Why are you picking this? And then I realized if that's the case, stop giving them the crappy things you don't like. Because if I gave them 3 all the time, they would always go for it. And then we can just start from that place of what is it they may not like, and we can revisit things. It's easier than giving them 3. And then some people they're not designers, right? So they can't see what we see. So pretty much I just do the one design and I share with them how we got here based on all the information I acquired from them. And usually they love it and we just keep moving forward.
This is so incredibly empowering, I think, for people who are maybe getting, I want to say like down and dirty, but that does not sound appropriate. I was like, how do I say this? But like in the weeds, right? Like in their businesses every day, they're pulling all the strings, they're doing all the artwork and doing everything. And I just like feel so empowered listening to you right now because I'm like, I could build my whole business by having other people do the design work and I'm just doing the management. And I remember talking to you the first time, Nikisha, on our first Zoom call. And it almost just like blew my mind because I didn't realize it was an option because I think we have become fascinated with the hustle, right? Of like, we're doing it all. We're the face of our business, which is why I really, really admire you and how you've built your business the past 10 years and why I think that there's so much to learn from you. let's see. Are there any other thoughts for the team management aspect that you wanted to address before we move on?
So here's the thing. I know there's a lot of people listening that are like, I can't do that. Some people, trust me, I was there. I remember going, I can't afford any help. I'm going to have to always figure this out on my own. And I think when I made that transition, I was just exhausted. I don't know about you guys, but I got tired. And I'm like, I am not a person who wants to design all the time. I did it for a while. I'm like, okay, I'm done. You can find me in my workflow, my streamlining process, my QuickBooks. I love that. I am the opposite of what the norm is. And I hear you, but understand literally finding out or speaking to someone about if you like their style, reach out to them, speak to them. Do they offer that service? If they offer it, what's their hourly rate? What's the agreement? Everyone I have and I speak with, we come up to an agreement. We have our contract or agreement like created. We sign off on it. Therefore, we know what the process is. Like I'm very clear on my contractor's pricing. I know that's put into my cost of what I'm doing. It's done. Like I'm very aware of, okay, this is what this is. And if a job comes up and we're going to add an illustration to it, I already know the information. So I just reach out to my artist and I'm like, hey, we have this project. This is when it needs to do. This is the timeline. Are you good with this timeline? They say yes. And we just book the client. So you would just have to be efficient. Now, if you're not comfortable communicating, if you're not comfortable figuring out how to streamline something, that's where you would need to work on. Those are the things you need to work on to get to that place. And I don't have trust issues. I don't believe someone's going to create something and run away with it. Or if I create something and share it, they're going to run away with it and try to make millions. I am very aware of my talent and my skills. And I'm very aware that if I do it the way I do it, no one's going to do it like me because no one is me. I am the only Nikisha King Hidalgo. So no one's gonna run away with my concept, even if they got it. I don't know. They can try, and if they do it a better way, that better way is not my way. That's just their way and how they're going to do it. So I don't have those hiccups. Therefore, I'm okay with having a team, if that makes sense. My whole business culture is when I have a team, the more they learn from me, if they ever decide to go out on their own, that's okay. That is my mission. My mission is to grow people who are a wealth of knowledge. And if they want to go out in the world and have their own business and generate income to support their family and live the life that they want to live, then so be it. If you're scared of people generating wealth and you're scared of that, then that's something that I would just say that I don't believe in that, but that's what hinder a lot of solopreneurs in growing because they're scared someone's going to steal their idea. And I'm like, no one can steal anything if it's yours. Like, just be good with that. So that's just my last bit about building your team. You need to trust people. You need to have a positive outlook. You should want them to do more in life. You shouldn't want them to be stuck with you. I don't want no one to be stuck with me. If they choose to be stuck with me, I'm like, great. And I will be like, how can we educate you so you could go move on? Because I'm not going to be here for eternity. And I don't want no one to, I'm happy if they do, but in reality, it's good when everyone can grow. So that's how I see it.
I swear, this is not the only time having a conversation with you where I feel like I just want to ugly cry because you're so inspiring.
I feel like I just want to run as fast as I can, down the street, yeah, I can do it. But Nikisha, you see, to me, in my head, this is how I visualize you. As this ringleader, and you're just what are you doing over there? You're snapping your fingers, get it together. We're doing this. Okay, all these rings got to be doing together. Get the show together. Everybody put on their performance. You do your job, and you're just in the middle, look at this grandiose thing. And the people come to the show to see you because you're the master, but you got all these clowns and puppets. I mean, not calling your employees clowns, but you know what I'm saying.
Right.
They're all moving, all these moving pieces together, and it's just this beautiful, chaotic, awesome thing. It's just amazing. So that's how I'm visualizing this.
It's the circus metaphor. It's the great balancing act, and she is at the center of every amazing act happening.
And even in being in the center, I don't know if you ever saw The Greatest Showman. I feel like he treated them with so much respect, and there was times he didn't, but that's just how I feel about people, right? If you're going to be in that position as a leader, and I I've learned I don't see myself as a boss. I don't even want to be seen as a leader. I'd rather be a coach. I'd rather have a team of people that I can coach to be better in everything they do. But mine would be positive reinforcement. I don't need to yell at anyone. But my whole thing is that I enjoy giving people a platform or a different mindset, right? Give them something that they never either seen or their perspective never even realized that was an option. Like, give them that. Like, when you build a great team of people who are inspired, trust me, the work they provide is going to be freaking phenomenal. And that's how I see it, right? I see my artists as people who they are phenomenal. Period. I love who they are as a human being. I like when they get to do something that wasn't normal. And if I'm investing in them and it helps with them getting either a new car, having a great Christmas, whatever it is, then that's a big reward. That's a very, how can I express it? It's just great to be doing simple, small things that help someone else. That's just
Yes. It's a very gratifying process at the end where you feel like you are truly lifting others up and you can see the impact that you're having on a daily basis. For those listening who are artists and they want to do the artwork, can this work in reverse where they're like, I'm going to be the artist and I want to hire a Nikisha, basically? Can you flip that on your head? Or yeah, share your thoughts on that.
They can. It wouldn't be me because I don't do the day-to-day for any business. So every business owner I
just
work
meant
with,
someone who thinks like you, someone who's systems minded.
I have no idea. I mean, like when my clients do hire me, they hire me to create their streamlining. So I do financial systems and I do their client management systems. I like work all of that. That's just my thing. And they hire me for that, but I am not their day-to-day. But I do have a partner who I would then say, if you need a day-to-day VA, this is the person for you. She's just like me, but she just loves the day-to-day. And I'm just like, I'm not doing your day-to-day. I do not want to be in your business every day. So
Yes.
I do have a business, that I usually refer those to, and they handle the day-to-day after I build out the system. Yep. So it's possible to have that. If you're an artist and you need someone to do the other side, you can definitely hire me or that other person.
Okay, awesome. I absolutely love that. And hopefully people hear it. And if they realize that they need help from you, they can come your way. And I don't want to put you on the spot, but are you starting to offer coaching for other creatives potentially?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
And I don't do it on blast. So sometimes people like, well, where can I go? I mean, it's like, go to my DM on nikisha.king on IG and just get in touch with me. I don't do it to the mass because I put my heart and soul into investing in people. So I don't need 10 million people to come my way. I like working with people too that want to do more and who are ready to do more. Everyone's not ready. Some people are struggling, but they still want to just stay in the infancy of their business. And I'm just like, I can't help them. But there's people who have the demand, who's like ready. They need to build their team. And they're like, I just need someone to get me unstuck. I need someone to help me create the macro steps so I can get to the aspiration of what I want to do for the year or for the next 5 years. So I usually work with my clients on that, where we just literally build out what is it that they need to do and we break it down for them.
Okay, so that's great to know then that some creatives who are listening can come to you. They could slide into those DMs as an open invite.
Yes, it is an open invite. Everybody usually hates people contacting them via DM. I'm like, nope. If you do that, I'll definitely move you from that system into something better. But it's the beginning of a relationship, right? Like just having a conversation.
Yes. So some of the other questions we had, you've already been amazing because you've kind of addressed them without us even bringing them up, which is so perfect, which means that we've had a good flow this whole entire time. There is one where I was kind of curious of how often do you audit your business systems and make changes? Or do you feel like you're in a place with your business where you're so set in stone you don't have to do that anymore?
No, I am a fan of change. So for me, auditing will always be a process. I usually audit my business at the end of every quarter, so 4 times a year. What I do is I look at my numbers to see if they increase. If they increase by 30% of how many people are coming into the system, I make sure that that system that I have can hold up to the additional clientele, making sure no one's falling through. If I change something, like if I go from, I do full services, but if I do something that is more for my commercial clients and I add something new onto the business, I have to create a workflow, and then I have to make sure that stays up and maintained as well. Anytime you add something new to your system, there's a workflow for it. So you have to make sure you're keeping up with auditing. So that's why I do like 4 times a year. But it's just about any change in production, any change in the number of clients that we take on. Those are the things that I would have in place or update.
Yeah, that's honestly such a good point too. Like as you grow, the systems you're using now may work great with this amount of clients, but let's say you add 10 more clients to the mix. Is that still going to be working? Maybe you should have taken the time to figure out how to make those automations happen at the beginning, like you were mentioning. So that is great to do it quarterly, to be like, okay, as you grow, are you still bursting at the seams at this, or can your system like handle the extra workload? That's just a really great point.
You're so on point with that. And I say that because I have a client who owns a school, a Montessori school, and I work with so many different people. Everyone's not always a creative. And we started 2 years ago when she obtained that school, and it was different. And now she's bursting out the seams, because before it was smaller. So she used to love calling people and now she has a family that's growing, a business that's growing. She's like, I don't have time to call anyone. I'm like, exactly. And then I systemize it and automate it so people could go through the process and we can get them where they need to be. So the conversion is even a little bit quicker because she's not in it, right? Because when you're in it, you have to take time to call. When is that? When is that going to be on your schedule when you're trying to do 5 designs for 5 different clients? Like, people have to you have to really consider what you're doing to yourself, your family, and to your clients. It's more than you. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
So inspiring. I just love it.
I know. This is such a great episode. Oh!
And we can have you back at some point, Nikisha, in the future to talk about your take on networking, because it's so good. Nikisha is a total go-getter when it comes to meeting new people, and I love it. It's the energy everyone needs.
And it's been so much fun doing it. I did it for the first quarter this year. It was fun, and it's ending this quarter. So next I go, and I have a plan. I have 1 week of networking. That's my normal, right? So the week of April 19th is my networking week, and that's where I put everyone in that week. But this quarter, it was like a free for all. So it was like 2 weeks of networking back to back. And it was great because I met Elizabeth. I've met so many good people. There's so many good people in the world. I literally speak to people in Italy, which is nice. I speak to people in Brazil. That's been my thing. It was really great. So I'm happy to come back for that.
Yeah, it's incredible. So we will definitely table that discussion for another time, because I know that we can talk about it for an hour.
Yes.
So we always wrap up our guest episodes with this question. At least as of late, we've kind of been doing this. So what kind of work do you hope to produce more of in 2021? And is there anything you're leaving behind?
So in regards to my personal division, which is my invitations and custom stationery, I want to produce more authentic illustrations. So we create memorable invitations by just doing illustration and art for our clients. It's not really like a venue illustration, but if there's a specific area like where they were engaged or something special, we kind of create there. For our commercial clients, it's pretty much our goal in producing branding collateral that speaks to the essence of their business. The essence is like the spirit of the business. So I am building out my commercial side where we do digital marketing, website, logo branding, and things of that nature. So for 2021, just getting the structure of that part of our agency. And what I'm leaving behind is generic designs. I am very clear to my clients, I am not a minted in any form or any shape. I do not create a lot of botanical floral designs and sell it to the mass because it doesn't tie in with my clients. I like doing things that's so personal that when my clients, friends, and family receive it, they can see the guest of honor in the invitations. Like, that's so special for me. So I'm leaving behind the generic designs. I'm okay not selling to the mass. I like selling to clients who are align with what I see for them. And that's something that's our new venture. I'm also leaving the mindset that I need to serve everyone. I'm okay with not serving everyone because I believe what I have is valuable. So the people who show up and who get that, I'm happy to serve them, even if it's 5 or 10 people. I'm happy to pour into them whatever I can and be totally fine with that.
Those are great things to leave behind. I love that.
Yeah. I know. I'm done with that.
Yeah.
I've done it for a
Get out of
while.
here.
Yep. I've done it for a while and it didn't get me anywhere, you know?
Mhm.
And if that's the case, if something you do for a long time doesn't get you anywhere, it's time to stop. Just leave it behind.
Yes. 100% yes. I feel like all I've said this episode is yes and amazing. And
yeah, we don't even need to say anything. Like, don't listen to us.
Yeah, don't listen to us. Listen to Nikisha. She has the best advice. Wow, we are so thankful that you dedicated almost an hour of your time today to really speak some wisdom with our audience and to encourage them and inspire them. I really hope that everyone comes away from this just feeling energized and just going out there and doing the dang thing and going after what you want. I think if Nikisha's taught us anything in this episode, that it's about building like the life you want in your business so that you're not always down and dirty, as I said earlier.
Oh my
We're going to get some
gosh.
emails about that, I'm sure. So we're going to go ahead and wrap up, and I'm going to let Cammie do the housekeeping today.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I love when I get to do the housekeeping. But anyway, you guys, if you love this episode and you love what you're hearing from us, please leave us a 5-star rating review on iTunes. It helps us get found. It helps other creatives get to hear amazing people like Nikisha. So please do that. Just takes like 5 seconds. Just do it. And then, of course, if you have follow-up questions for us, you can go to bizbirthdaybash.com/Q&Cake and submit your questions there for our Q and Cake episodes. And then, Nikisha, can you let everyone know where to find you if anyone wants to follow up?
So one, if you would like to get in contact, you could definitely DM me at Nikisha, Nikisha.King on IG. That is also my website, nikishaking.com. You can send an email. My email is there, of course, on my inquiry page, and let me know if you have any questions. And that's pretty much it. Thank you guys also for having me. It's an honor to be here. I don't take this lightly. I think it's nice to be invited, to be able to share everything I've learned in my process. And trust me, I was also a beginner. I wasn't I didn't start out this way. I just learned better. So thank you for having me, Cammie and Elizabeth. I appreciate it.
Yes, thank you for accepting our invitation.
Yes, thank you so much, Nikisha. We look forward to seeing everybody next time. In the meantime, go ahead and give Nikisha a follow. That's Nikisha.King on Instagram. She would love to hear from you. Sliding into her DMs is an open invite. Don't forget it.
Yes. All right. Thanks, y'all. See you later.
Bye.
Hey guys, we share a ton of free, helpful info here on the podcast, but if you're looking to go deeper, you need our Business Sense for Creatives bundle. This is our foundational resource. We share it all. Our pricing strategies, marketing plans, our favorite print partners, real-life examples of our invoices and workflows, and so much more. Literally, it is amazing. It really is the comprehensive guide for a money-making creative biz.
So with the bundle, you'll get access to our 3 webinar replays, Pricing with Purpose, How to Be Confident When It Comes to Charging Your Worth, People and Publicity, How to Find Clients and Deliver an Awesome Experience, and lastly, Productivity and Processes, How to Run Your Business Efficiently and Get Crap Done.
And not to mention, you'll also get our 3 bonus PDF party favors. What? We've heard from students that these are worth the price of it alone. So the party favors are pricing FAQs, the SEO cheat sheet, and a mini favorite vendors guide to get you started on where to print invitations.
So just to clarify, that is not only 3 awesome video recordings, but 3 bonus PDFs as well that support the content from the videos. So I think it's a pretty good deal.
It's Totally. It's the best deal out there. And you have lifetime access to it, which also adds to the whole value. So,
woohoo! Don't take it from us, though. Take it from the hundreds of students who have learned from the bundle and have said that these were the best, most real, and informative webinars that they've ever watched. We've seen students double their prices after watching these and totally skyrocket their businesses.
This is our roadmap of how we got to where we are today, so skip the mistakes and speed bumps, doing it the slow way, and let us put you on the fast track to running a creative biz like a boss and pricing for profit and not just pay.
And the best part, this resource is less than $100. Seriously, y'all, it's only $97, and it's so worth that price and much more. So go to bizbirthdaybash.com/bundle to purchase it today.